are back. The time is now. Welcome to the Geordie Yam Yam and the Mighty Win Show here on NUFC Talk TV, where we talk everything Newcastle United. Well, you know, as much as we can, with other little bits and pieces that go on in and around the Premier League and Champions League world. Interesting couple of days, to be fair, with everything that's gone on at the club, with things that aren't going to be spoken about, or at least produced, as in the badge, the club itself going forward, until certain things have materialised, I suppose. And you guys had a great show last night. I was listening to you on the way back from Leicester, and it was like I said, I think you put to bed the concept of the ticket touting and everything else. And I think, like I say, I think it's going to rumble on for some time. But like I say, we're going to get into a couple of different subjects today. Question mark over the owners, if they're fully committed. He has spoke out. I've got an interview that he did in America, so we'll talk about that. But before we get into it, we'll do the housework and then we'll crack on with today's show. So again, welcome to everybody that watches across all of the platforms. Thanks to everybody that works tirelessly in the background. Don't forget to smash that like button for us if you enjoy the show. It has been a massive help for you guys smashing that like button, but continue to do so. It just helps us get further as a channel. Subscribe, it's totally free. Don't forget, please hit that bell for future content. We do shows virtually every day, sometimes twice a day. And we only really have one day off. So if you get a chance, jump on board with us and help us by smashing the bell, and you'll get a notification half an hour before we go live. And we're always live. This totally is unedited, as you can tell. I've never got the right teeth in. If you want to help us grow, though, you can become a member. I think I've got yours in, mate. A small monthly fee, different levels to choose from. If you've got a question for me or Win, then put a Q in front of the question. Like I say, not always seen in the chat because there's lots of people in the chats, but we'll do our best to try and highlight certain questions or something that is relevant for us to talk about. But if you want to guarantee it, then use the $, throw us a Talk TV Super Chats, and that will guarantee that message read out. And anybody that becomes a member during the show, or any of our gorgeous members out there that gift them, will be highlighted and thanked. And like I say, you have still got the chance, if you want to, £5 entry fee to come on board and participate in the Prediction League, where you try and predict all of the Newcastle scores throughout the season, both in the league as well as cup competitions. And the top 6 get prizes, top 4 get cash prizes, 5 and 6 get a prize to more of the value, because you can't get anything for the £5 these days unless you want a bag. But you will get something of more value than your entry money. So how are we this
And who's
Tuesday?
currently top of the league?
Me.
Mr. Modest there.
Listen, like I said, just continue how I left off last year. And if it wasn't for the fact I was trying to be nice and graceful and allow other people to win. Yeah, I wished. Trolls has come in. Win. Is Win so grumpy? Joking. No, he always looks that way. Look, he's always got a gorgeous smile.
Never grumpy. I mean, I can be grumpy on certain subjects, obviously. You know, like, for example, when we're talking last night about season ticket holders making money by transferring their tickets on. And I mentioned last night, you know, because I said to you, if you remember, when your lovely missus bought you that ridiculously expensive ticket, it was for Tottenham, wasn't it?
It was a Spurs game where we won 2-1, and 183 quid, I think it was, because you pay 140 quid for the ticket, and then you've got the admin fee from, and it was the same company that when you guys were doing the show.
That's right. Well, I said to Chris, I'm sure that was the same one that you used.
Same company, First Football, I think it was.
And if you remember, I said to you, if that had been me, I would have been reporting the seat number to the club.
Well, like I say, I did
it's
send an
absolutely
email,
disgraceful.
but I got nothing at all back. Not a thing.
Oh, you sent them an email, did you?
I sent an email saying that I felt a little bit strange because I was questioned about the lady seat that I took, because the gentleman who was obviously a regular in the seat next to me said, "You're not a woman." I'm like, well, I might be. I haven't checked for a while. Well, I couldn't see it. I couldn't see it by then because I had a bit more of a belly than I have today.
One of the guys in the chat's called what is it now? Now the dudes can be women or something.
Women, yeah, exactly. David Cook's got a message for you, mate. Did you get my message about you winning the Loaded Mags members draw?
I didn't know.
Oh, there you go. You need to get in touch with Pete and see if you.
I did. I wasn't aware that I was still a Loaded Mags member, to be fair.
There you go. You see.
But I did win when they were sponsored by Manscaped. I did win some Manscaped toiletries.
Oh, very nice.
In one of the draws.
Have you got a shiny sack? That's what we want to know. No, I don't. I'm only joking. No, I don't want to go there.
No.
Anyway, look at that Irish Brummy babe, Gary. There you go, Brummy babe. Okay, I've not been called a babe for a long time. Man, I feel like a woman, says to coin a phrase. Anyway, let's get into today's show. We've had Matt Targett's come out and had a
surely not.
Too. He has. He's came out of the closet and said that he wasn't very happy. He's at his time at Newcastle, and he struggled somewhat. So the opening comments was Matt Targett has opened up on his hard times at NUFC, not playing. He has done well for Borough and even scored at the weekend. Great to see him doing well. Could this be the year Borough are promoted after a great start? And then obviously his little ditty, if you like, but I'm delighted to help the team. When you're not playing and you have dark times, these moments are more special when they come. It's not all highs in football. You inevitably have your lows, but you remember these moments and you build on them. And me coming away and playing regular football is helping me mentally get over those dark times. So, like I said, he's given himself an opportunity to brace, I suppose, the championship. And we said, at the end of the day, he's done a job for us. I have
did a great job for us.
I don't begrudge him going to seek football. If I'm honest with you, apparently the tickets for a signed shirt need to claim the ticket from one of the lads, according to David. That's what you've got.
Oh, right.
I'll have that on the screen there, mate, for you to see.
Thank you very much, David. I will get in touch
Thanks for that, Dave. Yeah, so like I say, Matty Targett doing well at the Borough Championship, but I think that's the level now, to be fair. And that's now discredit to him. Every player has a level to achieve. And I think when you're showing the signs like he is, you can see you can be great at championship level and you can be a star performer. But as soon as you take that shift up, unless you continue your development, and unfortunately, Matty Targett's probably at the wrong age group now to continue growing in the Premier League. I think you'll always figure yourself out as more, if you do step up with the Borough, say if he stays at the Borough, mid to lower end of the Premier League standard rather than higher. Do you agree with that one? Or is that something that, I know you've got a lot of time for Matty Targett.
I've got an awful lot of time. I think he took a tremendous amount of stick because he was awarded a 100k a week contract. And
it's not his fault though, is it?
No, that's not his fault.
If the club is stupid enough, yeah, exactly. Yeah, the club is stupid enough to.
And to be honest, he was part of the squad, a big part of the squad that kept us.
Absolutely.
In the Premier League. Well, how much did Newcastle make out of the Premier League by staying in? Hundreds of millions. So on that basis, to be paying him what would it work out at? 5 years, 3 years, 15, for him to get 15 million for being part of that, I think is fair reward. Everybody else who was due a rise got a rise as well. And all of the other players who came in after the December that he'd been, so he was left back until Dan Burn came in, and then he got injured. Dan Burn took over at left back and did absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah.
So and then he got injured again. Players can't help getting injured, and it's not his fault that he was on 100k a week.
No, I mean, Irish is saying he don't like this. If Matt didn't want to be there, he could have put a transfer in. I don't think it's the fact that he didn't want to be there. I think it's sometimes when you get injured, like Matty Target did, and obviously he's got this eczema situation around him, which is an awful skin condition. And I know like people take the pay out of him, and especially in the area where he used to get it. You can imagine that chafing constantly in between your groin area. It's enough to put anybody, especially in football where you're constantly running. It can't be good. But for me, it was a case of when a player's injured, and like I said, did we bring Matty Target back too early from his original injury? Because it was the game he returned that he got injured again. And it was a case of, for me, it was probably a little bit too soon to come back. But again, Eddie Howe, it's not Eddie Howe's fault that happened. It is one of them situations that you find yourself in. He's gone through the hard yards in training. He's been cleared by all the medic staff. Probably been a bit of difference if we'd have got different medics in at the time. May not have been as clear cut as it is now when it comes to players coming back.
Okay, listen, I'm getting called to task here, Pontil and
excuse me.
Dan Burn took over at left back and was absolutely brilliant. Burn was rotten at left back, superb at centre back ever since. Burn played left back in the best defence in the Prem. Trippier, Shea, Botman, Burn, best Premiership defence that season. Conceded 10 goals in total, I think, didn't it?
Yeah. So it was somewhat crazy.
So
I mean,
he was superb at left back. Did he get skinned? Did he get skinned on the odd occasion by a terrific left winger? Of course he did. Right winger? Of course he did. Every fullback, the best fullback in the world is going to get skinned once or twice in a game. He was absolutely superb at left back.
Yeah.
And then, back on the subject of Target, what we then did was signed a very, very young Lewis Hall, who arrived on the scene. And then, whilst Target was injured again, Lewis Hall came through and blossomed. And so that was his pathway blocked back into the team yet again. So you can understand his frustration. Professional footballers want to play football.
I've just had some breaking news, guys. I don't know how true this is, but I've just had something flagged up that Newcastle United to be fined millions by UEFA for spending rule breach despite Alexander Isak's sale, says this report. And this is Joe Donahue. It's been published 30 minutes ago, guys. So I am just reading this for the first time, and I'll read it out exactly what verbatim has it's been written. Newcastle United are expected to face a financial penalty for breaching UEFA's loss-making rules. Newcastle United are back in the Champions League this season and therefore must abide by financial controls imposed by the competition's governing body, UEFA. In the Premier League, clubs are allowed to lose up to 105 million over the course of 3 seasons, but in Europe, that figure is halved. Newcastle recent financial reporting concerning the period 22 to 25 indicates the club can expect a financial sanction similar to those handed down to Aston Villa and Chelsea in seasons past. According to The Athletic, Newcastle appear to have comfortably breached UEFA's 52 million loss. The club are not able to include the profit made on Alain Saint-Maximin and Elliot Anderson sales to Al Hilal and Nottingham Forest, respectively. Saint-Maximin's move was deemed to have been made between two related parties, Newcastle and Al Hilal. Al Hilal are both owned by Saudi Arabia Public Investment Fund, while Anderson's switch to Forest was regarded by UEFA as a swap deal, which saw goalkeeper Odyssey's Vlachodimos heading the other way. The pre-tax loss submitted to UEFA for the 23-24 alone comes out at 38 million, leaving the club little room to manoeuvre. Prior to the above season, Newcastle spent heavily on their squad to level up Eddie Howe's side, subsequently posting a significant pre-tax loss in their 22-23 accounts. Newcastle's financials are expected to be somewhat heavier in their yet-to-be-released 24-25 accounts due to increased revenues. However, the losses incurred during the two previous seasons are likely to be substantial enough to mean the club faces a fine for breaching the UEFA spending rules. And it goes on, obviously, to talk about the Alexander Isak selling. Alexander Isak's British record sale will be taken into account for the 22-25 period, although Newcastle are unlikely to report the profit to UEFA as one lump sum. The 130 fee recouped will help considerably in lessening the strength of the financial sanction imposed on the Tyneside club. Aston Villa and Chelsea were each fined by UEFA early in the year for violating the organisation's financial rules. Chelsea's fine consisted of an immediate 27 million payment with the possibility of an additional 52 million in penalties if the Blues do not adhere to the terms of their 4-year agreement with the club financial control body. Similarly, I can never say that word, Aston Villa were required to pay 9.5 million fine up front and could face further penalties of up to 13 million if they fail to comply with the 3-year settlement agreements. Again, it just goes on to talk about over the last 5 years. That's an interesting one, mate. Something I didn't expect.
I'm just looking here because they're saying that we made profit on Alain Saint-Maximin.
Well, it's because it's a related body, isn't it? That's why they're not even looking at that.
They're saying the profit can't be counted. But if I'm not mistaken, transfers.
Are UEFA taking...
Right. So we, according to Transfermarkt, we paid 18 million for him, 18 million euros, and sold him. So it must have been 16 million quid and sold him for 25 million. So that's only 9 million.
Yeah.
And if we've included 45 million in the books for what we allegedly got for Anderson, but we paid allegedly 27 million for Vlachodimos, there's 18 million there. But why should that be classed as a straight swap? Why can you not get a player plus cash deal?
Yeah, I think, like I said...
Unless they've put the whole 45 in and then amortised the 27, so they're only counting 5 of the 27.
27,
so
yeah,
40,
I don't know.
So,
like I said, it seems a bit strange, this the rulings that they've looked at because of the third party sanction, obviously with the Saudis. To some degree, I understand that, but again, that wouldn't get us out the mire.
You see, when we sold Maxi to Saudi, I couldn't understand, bear in mind what they were paying for other players of similar ilk
Yeah.
from elsewhere, paying way over the top for them.
Yeah. Why we got shortchanged.
Why we got shortchanged. And the only explanation for that was that they didn't want to risk any comebacks on overvaluation.
Yeah.
So, on that basis, how the hell can we be being done for it?
Well, I think it's the losses that we've incurred since obviously the 22 to 25, and obviously as people are saying, you can't Isaac's money be included in this season's money, not last's. So what they're looking at is the fact that they're not going to include any of the deals with linked, like the ISM deal. Obviously, they're not looking at the RV Elliott because they reckon, or they're deeming that as a straight swap, which obviously it wasn't. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot more information come out about this over the last. I thought our wage ratio was low. It's nowhere near Chelsea's or Villa's, says Darren Lee, and I agree. It's nowhere near.
It is low in terms
compared,
of a lot of people. However, it was the last time I did the calculations, it was verging on the 70. Bear in mind that UEFA is 70%, whereas Premier League is 90% of revenue, and it was verging on the 70% at that stage.
Yeah.
That was when Bruno, when Bruno, J7, Gordon had got their rises.
Yeah. Sounds like a petty technicality. Everyone know Anderson is now not a swap deal for a Vlach piss take. I mean, that's when it gets a little bit annoying, isn't it? Because, like I said, they're dealing with it in a way that the Premier League didn't deal with it, right? Because obviously we saw that loophole. We saw it previously with other clubs, previous clubs, and we've taken advantage of it to get us out of the PSR situation. But it seems as though there's been a little bit of a rick when it comes to, again, looking deeper into these scenarios. And again, you have to question why the club didn't do a background on this, knowing full well that they've got every chance of...
Who's in charge of the money there now?
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
And surely he's got to have been aware of all of these ramifications.
Well, that's what I said. Chelsea, it's not a new thing for Chelsea. Chelsea have been smacked by UEFA how many times?
Their wrist is red raw from being
absolutely
smacked.
UEFA rules say it's are over 70%.
UEFA 70, Premier League is 90. And we were the last time I looked, we weren't exceeding the 70, but we were sailing close to the wind.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting one, Gov. I'm going to star that one because we'll come to that one about the Pep now stop playing from the back because Donnarumma's in and he's not very good with his feet either. Yeah, it's an interesting one. We'll come back to that one, matey. Thanks for that. Yeah, time and tide, you're absolutely right. They are, like I said, every club now in the European competitions, especially the Premier League clubs. And again, my question was to you guys is, are we, because we're in the Premier League now, and because of how well we've done in the Premier League in European competitions, and I'm not just saying the Champions League, you look at other competitions that we're involved in, we seem to go very far, if not win, the lesser European competitions these days, because the big boys aren't dropping down now in this new formation, in this new format that they've got. Are UEFA now taking a different look and obviously trying to hinder? You can't say stop because they will never stop it. But are they trying to slow the progression in Europe by the Premier League clubs? by sanctioning all this?
They are trying to stop the Prem in the same way the Prem are trying to stop the Toon.
Well, yeah, that's what that it just seems as though it doesn't matter what door you open for Newcastle. It seems as though another one closes, or at least slams completely shut. Piff lawyers will be all over this. Yeah, I totally agree, mate. And David Cook again. It was said at the time that PSR swaps would not be accepted by UEFA, but at the time we weren't in Europe. Excuse me. It's a crazy one. Claire G has just put down about the Amanda Staveley interview. I've got a snippet. Well, I'm not going to play it, but I have got a little part of the Amanda Staveley interview, which I thought was really good, actually. And if anybody hasn't seen it, go and have a look on YouTube on High Performance. It's a very interesting watch along. Claire G does, as I said, though, we haven't went crazy like Chelsea and Villa have. Villa with the high wage loans. Again, you've got to look at it and ask the question: Are we being hammered now because of, like I say, how good the Premier League are doing within the European competitions? But again, this is a ruling that's been out there by all of the of UEFA rule from day one, hasn't it? Is it 75%? The UEFA ruling. Or 70% or something like that.
70%. 70%. Salaries and agents' fees cannot exceed 70% of gross revenue.
Yeah. Gary Kilvington here. That's why Osula didn't go to Villa, as UEFA would have said that was a swap deal. Swap deals, as you know what I mean.
With Ramsey coming the other way.
Yeah, exactly. So that's again, it's all starting to make a lot more sense when you see these these deals not working. I certainly need to put my teeth in.
Because they were also interested in Harvey Barnes, weren't they?
There was some linked with Harvey Barnes.
Except that could have been a straight swap. That would have been.
This happens when your CEO is sick and not blaming him, but he should have been replaced immediately due to his health and not make him work another year. Well, maybe, like I said, there's a lot more emphasis gone on to his health rather than the club's health. Obviously waiting for David to come on board, which he seems to have done now. And it seems as though, obviously, the next door to open is going to be the Doff, which very much likes it's going to be Ross Wilson. As Aito, who was the other link, has now moved on to another club. I think it's Rangers, which aren't doing very well up in Scotland. I'm sure Ian will love that.
I've got some more breaking news here. A number of supporters have received an email today to purchase a Barcelona ticket. These were sent to the supporters next in line from the ballot entries. Tickets are a combination of those cancelled, presumably those cancelled that we've heard all about, and returns from Barcelona in level 7. So that means Barcelona are not taking their full
500. That's all they're bringing. 500 supporters.
Oh well, there you go.
They've sent all of their tickets back that they haven't sold, and they are being sold to members. Or Aito went to Brighton. Connor says, "Thanks, mate. I knew it was somewhere." They are looking at. I think they've already been sold, mate. I'm sure I've read somewhere. Bear with me a second. I have just had it up, but because you guys were talking massively over that last night, I didn't want to bring it up today. Where is it?
The email reads: dear supporter, a small number of tickets have become available for our upcoming fixture against Barcelona on Thursday the 18th, including some seats returned by Barcelona from its original away allocation. We are pleased to offer you a ticket as one of the next eligible supporters from the original ballot. Tickets will be available online from 3:30 p.m. today, and you will have 24 hours to log into your account, select and purchase the tickets. If you do not buy during this time, you will still be eligible to purchase tickets that are put for resale by season ticket holders unable to attend the game. Keep an eye on book.newcastleunited.com for any tickets made available for resale. To secure your seats, please log into your account on booknewcastleunited.com and select the seats you wish to purchase. Thank you for your continued support. And then there's a select your seat button.
Oh.
So there you go.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'd seen it somewhere. I just can't see it now. But they said that there was only something like 500 tickets sold for Barcelona, and they were they'd returned umpteen amounts of tickets, and they were being sold for members. But again, you've got to ask yourself, where are they? Are they obviously closing the section off even further to bring or allow these seats to be sold to Newcastle?
Well, if they're only bringing 500, that's literally just the section next to the telly.
Yeah, right in that corner.
That's because there's it's not even that full section to tell you, but they'll obviously have to have the full section. Because I think each section is 1,500.
I've just wondered whether it was this one. I think it's going to the Young Magpies. Tickets on sale for Young Magpies away for Youth League visit of Barcelona. No, it's not. It's the kids having the match against Barca. So yeah, an interesting one. How this situation is going. I mean, there's lots of talk. I mean, it does make me laugh when I look at this one. Barcelona told to expect the Alamo in Newcastle United's Champion League sizzler. That's a hell of a statement, I must admit. Remember
the Alamo. The Alamo. Well, remember it from the last time.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I say, I mean, it'll be a good talking point, actually. What happened to the class of '97? Where do you think they are now? Shall we get into it?
We could get into it. Yeah,
where are they
now?
Yeah, where are they now? 27. The Catalan Giants, 27 years ago. Can't believe it's that long.
Yeah, almost to the day. If it had been on the Wednesday, it would have been to the day.
Would have been to the day, yeah. 27 years
day.
Since Newcastle beat them. So obviously we know Colombian maverick Faustino Asprilla supported a flying winger, Keith Gillespie, playing the game of his life, giving United sensational 3-0 lead and sent the 36,500 crowd into a frenzy.
Yeah, that was all there was then.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it? When you look at it.
The Leazes end hadn't been
set up, had it?
No.
Yeah, it was still quite flat. Obviously, we know Shay Given works as a pundit, BBC and TNT. Warren Barton lives in California, and he's a pundit on Fox. Steve Watson, currently the boss of Darlington in the 6th-tiered English tier. Philip Albert. Where is Philip Albert? He's a part-time grocer in Gilloise, a pundit on Charleroi. Albert was fuming when he was sold by Ruud Gullit after 5 happy years on Tyneside.
Yeah.
John Beresford, Newcastle matchday host and
another famous number 27.
Yeah, won an MBE for spearheading Show Racism, a red card campaign where he remains a key figure, educating schools across the north. Keith Gillespie is the architect of 2 of Tino's headers. He's now a football agent who also advises players on mental health after previous problems with betting addiction. Rob Lee remains the legend, obviously works on the Torquay circuit and runs Speedflex Gym. Was voted into Newcastle's Hall of Fame and worked as an Evening Chronicle columnist during the Baron Mike Ashley eras, often irking the Sports Direct tycoon with some strong views. John Barnes, an ambassador and matchday host for Liverpool after managerial stints at Tranmere and Celtic following his playing career. David Batty, the former England star, chose to live a life away from the limelight, and he's a recluse figure in Yorkshire, has been spotted at the odd Leeds games.
David Batty was a strange character,
He was.
He literally all the other players, because at the time, Newcastle had a well, actually, not at that particular time because Dalglish destroyed it. But they had a fantastic sporting culture where every one of them used to go and do everything. You knew if you were picking one of them up and taking them somewhere and you got to pick another one of them up, you knew they'd be going to the same place. Everybody did it as a team. When Dalglish took over, all of a sudden it became factions. You had Dalglish's clique, you had the Geordies, you know, Howie, Lee Clark, Watson, and the like, which Gillespie was a part of. And there was a big French-speaking contingent then, so they had their own clique. And it went from being a team united to very much cliques. And this team spirit that Keegan built was destroyed.
Yeah, it's crazy how one person can absolutely change the dynamic of a squad, isn't it? John Dahl Thomason, obviously we know all about him. He's been in the press very recently with the Alexander Isak affair. He's currently the Swedish national team manager after a stint.
He didn't play against Barcelona, did he?
He did. Yeah. He did, didn't he? He was in the squad.
Oh, he might have been. He wasn't in the team. I'm sure he wasn't in the team.
We'll have to have a look at that one. And obviously we've got Tino Asprilla, the hat-trick hero against Barcelona, lives back in Colombia and has a business selling condoms and making his own sugar cane.
What a surprise.
Comes back to Newcastle at least once a year to relive his younger days and wild nights out. Still got that fluffy coat. There you go. That's I mean, I can't believe it. He makes condoms. I mean, that's classic. Anyway, that's a bit of fun. Just highlighting the memories of days gone by. Getting on to more serious matters then. Yasser Al-Rumayyan spoken about PIF's investment into Newcastle United and his vision for the Saudi Arabian football. And the reason, obviously, why I want to talk about this, I must apologise. I've got a bit of a frog in my throat today. Saudi Arabia will host the 34th FIFA World Cup as the country continues to plough huge sums of money into football. Beginning with their takeover of Newcastle United in 21, the public investment fund Saudi Arabia has also taken over a number of top flight clubs in Saudi Pro League. This investment in football has been a number of huge names head to Saudi Arabia to play in the Saudi Pro League. With the staging of the World Cup, yet another landmark moment for Saudi Arabian football, PIF's takeover of Newcastle United 3 years ago began to renewed focus on investment in football, and Yasser Al-Rumayyan, who was named as the chairman of Newcastle United following the completion of the takeover, believes that their $305 million purchase of the Magpies was the perfect opportunity for PIF, and that they will use lessons learned from their time in Tyneside to help develop the Pro League and transform it into one of the world's football powerhouse leagues. It goes on to say, obviously, his words are about learning how the Newcastle work and the fans around the club and things like that. And what they're trying to do is try and make some of the teams in the Pro League to be welcomed the same as the Northeast. I mean, I find that very hard to do, if I'm honest with you. It's very difficult to try and get a mirror image of what it's like in the Northeast because we are a one club city. So it's very difficult. It's the World Cup and it's the most prestigious football event in the world, and there are billions of people who are watching the World Cup. It's very important to us in Saudi Arabia because it complements the strategy that we have when it comes to increasing the number of tourists, visitors, and also to improve the quality of life for Saudis. So we started with Newcastle United. It made perfect sense to us. The price was below the other English Premier League teams, and at the same time, the potential was so high. So we put in 350 million and we improved everything. The performance when we took it, they were 19th out of 20. And in the first season, they went all the way up to 7th, and we ended up with a season at the 11th position. The next 3 seasons, we got the first cup in 70 years, and that was last year. We finished in the top 5 and top 4 for the last 2 of 3 years, and played the Champions League, which is another great event. And how did we do it? We just brought in our framework and our system to the decision-making process. And we took this experience and brought it back to Saudi. So we started the Saudi Professional League football. And with that, as most of us know, Cristiano Ronaldo is playing there. Neymar used to play there. Karim Benzema, who are like superstars of the world of football. And we said, okay, now we have great players. How can we make the clubs great clubs? So we're bringing in the same experience that we had at Newcastle United Football Club to Saudi, to Al Hilal, to Al Ittihad, to Al Nasser, and Al Hilal. In the other clubs that we own indirectly from Aramco, through Neom, through Qadiyah. So now the Saudi Football League is ranked in the top 4 leagues in the world.
Well, I don't know where he gets that from.
No, normally. I mean, obviously, that's just pipe blowing.
Yeah, just the last bit. The rest's all, fair enough.
I mean,
I listened to the whole interview. Actually, it was
an interesting interview, wasn't it?
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah, but my question is
just out of interest. I'm just to confirm, in fact, that yes, indeed, that there's the starting 11, yeah. And John Dahl Thomason is there. So he was as remarkable in that game as he was in his whole Newcastle career, because
you can't remember
honestly can't remember him being there.
Yeah, I'm sure I remember. Like I say, I remember him in the squad. But like I say, when you said he was in the team, you know what? My mind went completely blank. So there you go. He was there. I think that was a great side. I still love that side. I think some of them. Yeah, I'm going to say some of them. Some of them, yeah, I could do without.
But getting back to Batty, yeah, even when the whole team used to go everywhere together, Batty was never there. He wasn't a drinker, wasn't a so. And they used to say, once he's finished training, straight home to the family. He didn't have no airs and graces, no nothing. He was just football.
Did that thing, the one that you read out just about the Barcelona, was that the one sent to you by Connor? A small number of tickets have become available.
I don't know where I got it from.
So this is from, thanks Connor again, because like I say, he's just sent me this, literally 5
but there was a message in the chat earlier on from Sheila saying that was yesterday or something.
Yeah, this is from the Newcastle Supporters Club, and it says a number of supporters have received an email to purchase a Barcelona ticket. These were sent to the supporters next in line for the ballot entries. Tickets are a combination of those cancelled and returned from Barcelona in level 7. So it's the email is a small number of tickets have been available for our upcoming fixture against Barcelona on Thursday the 18th, including some seats returned by FC Barcelona from the original away allocation. We are pleased to offer you a ticket as one of the next eligible supporters from the original ballot. Tickets will be available online from 3:30 p.m. today, and you will have 24 hours to log into your account, select and purchase the tickets. If you do not buy during this time, you will still be eligible to purchase tickets that are put for resale by season ticket holders unable to attend the game. Keep an eye on book.newcastleunited.com, all one word, for any tickets made available for resale. To secure your seats, please log into your account at booknewcastleunited.com and select the seats you wish to purchase. Thank you for your continued support. So that was from that dear customer. And I think that you've got it there. There you go. You've got it there on the screen. So there you go. That's that one. And obviously, he's talking about there's what you guys were talking about yesterday. Newcastle United cancelled more than 100 season tickets and apologise for the inconvenience caused. So an interesting one. What I was going to ask you about the Al Rumayyan situation is, do you think that because of all the process, the thought process, the organisation, obviously we know it's like 9 years away, but obviously these guys are very keen on getting Saudi Arabia ready for the
The World
visitors
Cup.
of football, right? So as the emphasis moved away from Newcastle because of that,
Well, I think it has.
because I mean,
But,
you
I've
listen
been
to a
saying
lot,
it for a long time now that they've kind of lost interest.
yeah.
Bigger fish to fry, you might say.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
let's hope that by putting better people in that hiatus between PIF and the club, in terms of a new CEO, they've been appointing various people all the time, and in that interview that you're referring to, Al Ramayan says, when we took Newcastle over, we introduced the PIF way of doing things. And obviously you can argue and he argued that that's been very successful in terms of where we were when they took over and where we are now, for limited capital outlay. He highlights the fact that they only paid 305 million for the club, which at the time was very cheap. He reckoned, for a Premier League club with the potential that Newcastle had, and he dwelt on that for a little bit, but made the point that he'd introduced PIF management techniques into the club. Now, you could argue if that's the case, then some of them haven't been
listening.
fit for purpose.
Yeah, they've not been listening to the comments.
In particular, the PR side of things since Amanda left, because the comments from the club, the silence has been deafening, you might say.
Yeah. According to
even
everybody saying
Barca fans are skinned.
Yeah, I love it. Kevin saying here, PIF was never going to be involved day to day. This was the job of the CEO and DOF. Absolutely. They're still investing and hiring great people. So how can we say they've lost interest? Well, what I'm saying is, why has it taken 12 months to get David Hopkinson in situ, I suppose? And the only thing I can say is, obviously, Al Ramayan has wanted this guy in-house, in situ, and because of David Hopkinson's current job, he wasn't able to come at the time we needed. The reasons why I question, has the World Cup taken the gloss, if you like, and I'm not saying they've lost interest per se, I'm just saying, have they taken their what they want, their push, their drive into the Saudi Arabia for the World Cup event that's coming their way? Because there's a lot to organise, there's a lot to sort, and you know what the Saudis are like. They make a spectacle, and they'll want to really push this higher and higher as they go. And that's why I said they are forcing their way into other leagues and competing at certain levels. And it's going to be difficult to compete with the Premier League, but they're certainly competing with a lot of the European leagues now. But for me, what I've witnessed over the last 12 months, not having a fit DOF that's taking the workload that he needs to take on board, struggling with a DOF, CEO, the club has been literally going the wrong way down a one-way street. That's what it feels like to me. And we're finding ourselves now, we get out of one financial loophole, and people, can say whoever it was to blame. Somebody needs to be in charge of the monies. Somebody must know how much you can spend and how much you can't spend for us to get involved and get into that situation in the pickle with Harvey Elliott and Minter. When you look back at that, and then you see what we've had to this last transfer window, with everything that's been going on, people obviously not in the right position to deal with the finale, if you like. There was no potential closer, if that's what you want to
That's right.
call them, in situ. Who do you blame? I mean, because again, these are owners, and his words I've just said there. It's the management structure that they want to take and put into the Saudi side of things. But I haven't seen much management structure, if that's the case. How many other companies do you know work for 12 months without a director on board?
Well, David Cook is saying at CEO level, appointments are planned years in advance. We had to react to the unexpected announcement of the yield situation. Yeah, okay. You can either accept that as fact or not. I don't think they necessarily are planned years in advance. However, when those circumstances do arise, you have to have a structure that can react to those and not take a year to react. Even if you just get somebody in temporary while you look for somebody better, you can't allow the situation. Breaking news from my perspective here, by the way, because I was going to highlight the fact that we'll play Union Saint Gilloise on the 1st of October.
Yeah.
In Brussels.
Yeah.
The tickets have just gone on sale now. And it's eligible supporters who applied with 200 plus loyalty points.
That's a high, isn't it? That's
200 plus. I've got 32.
That's ridiculously high.
It is.
So but I mean, you got to feel sorry for the people that have got 180 points.
This must have went up yesterday, the one day that I didn't actually look, probably, because I've been searching ever since, and I've just looked now again. Supporters with 279 loyalty points can buy from Monday the 15th, starting at 1 o'clock. Supporters with 200 plus loyalty points can buy up until 3 p.m. And the seat selection process for them closes on Wednesday the 17th. So presumably on Wednesday the 17th, that threshold will lower. I don't know how many tickets we've got. It doesn't say how many tickets we've got. I might look that up. See if I can find out. And then it will progressively drop. But it's not giving you any time at all to... I provisionally booked 2 seats on the on Keith Barrett's Toon travel flight.
Right.
To Brussels. Obviously on the proviso that I could get tickets. And he was all, not a problem with doing that. But of course he's got an aeroplane, paying for it on standby kind of thing till it's confirmed, till you can fill it. So if anybody out there has actually managed to get a ticket yet for Brussels, and you're looking for very, very reasonable travel, Toon Travel, Keith Barrett is your man.
David Veitch, the principal scientist. It is an enormously important appointment people have forgotten to mention. He will work directly with Suds, Wilson, and Howe to generate AI model data. Who's the principal
very important
scientist?
These days. In fact, again, during that interview, Al-Ramayan, highlighted the fact that Saudi is at the forefront, the very, very forefront of AI technology, and they intend to remain there. So,
Edwin Norris here is saying, what does the PIF NUFC infrastructure investment look like? Minor improvements at the training facilities, increased hospitality, and minor improvements within the stadium. And question mark. And I think that
Yeah.
that's where I think a lot of fans are being frustrated, isn't it? I'm going to lead on to something now in a second that Amanda
Borky's
stated.
just come in on the chat there and said there's only 500
Yeah, 500 tickets for the fans.
tickets for. I assume, Borky, you're talking about for Brussels, are you?
Well,
Just let me know.
or is that Barcelona? Yeah. There you go. Geordie Dan, 279 loyalty points. Did you have to be a ST holder since 1892 win? Surely you have the points being on the first ST holders.
No, because again, we've already done a show on this. For me, the away loyalty points system has been used and abused to death, and it has resulted in what I call away season ticket barons. And there is a network now amongst regular away travellers who somehow managed to get
Carry on,
tickets.
Will. I've just got somebody at the door, dude.
Yeah. Who managed to get tickets from tried and trusted sources. Now, the club tried to address this beginning of last season when they made it impossible, allegedly impossible, to transfer away tickets once you got them. But somehow or other, they find their way out. Now then, because the club did that, and because the regular away travellers hadn't got their act together at that stage, it meant that all of a sudden, season ticket holders with fewer loyalty points could get tickets. So for the away game against Man City at the start of, was it last season or the season before? Last season, I think it was. May have been the season before. In fact, I think it was. I managed to get a ticket to go to the Etihad. And I was on the train, traveling on the train with a load of we always called them back in the day when you used to paint the turnstiles, we called them the faces because there were people that you met on every away trip. That was when I used to go home and away every day. But that was when you were paying at the turnstiles, so you weren't getting any loyalty points for doing any of that. Mm. The loyalty points didn't come into play until the back end of the John Hall era. And I thought it was a fantastic thing then that they came into play. Mm. But what happened thereafter was, so then at that stage, I'd got married, I was starting to bring a family, and I couldn't afford to go to all the away games. So my relative loyalty points dropped. But I had a very interesting conversation on the train with these fans because I was complaining that, fans who wanted to go away more couldn't because the same people were getting loyalty points. And of course, by virtue of the fact that they've got those loyalty points, they can then get the tickets to the next game when nobody else can. So their loyalty points are continually going up and nobody else can get loyalty points. Mm. And the argument of that was, their argument of that was, well, if you've been trying to go to every game for the full season, how come you weren't at Brighton away on a Tuesday night when we didn't sell all our tickets? You couldn't have been trying to get away to every game. I said, well, no, not literally every game, So you just want to pick the good ones. You don't want to go to Brighton on a Tuesday night. And I said, no, but hang on a minute. I shouldn't be restricted to just going to Brighton on a Tuesday night but then I gradually came round kind of to their way of thinking, because how proud are we always of our away support? I regularly sit back, proud as punch, when at Brighton on a Tuesday night in the rain, and there's our away supporters giving it large, giving it sweet, and you're proud to be a Geordie listening to them out sing the home fans. But again, you see all the footage since YouTube started, and the likes of Adam and Matty are doing their away blogs, and I'm looking at the crowd that they are in amongst, and it's a load of there's a load of like young teenagers there, and I'm saying, how the hell can they possibly have 200 loyalty points? It's an absolute impossibility. And you see the same ones all the time. But God bless them, they do us proud when they're there, and they do go to, game after game after game. I don't know who's paying for it all, but whatever the way they're getting there, and they're paying for their tickets. So it's kind of swings and roundabouts. I'm obviously begrudged because I can't get away tickets anymore, and I like to go away. I like to mix with the opposition fans and have a good bit garb. But the Man City game in question, I went, and it was purgatory, because the stand for the full 90 minutes singing and chanting, and I don't mind singing that, but I ain't got the energy for that now. And so, and you can't you sit down, you can't see the football. So I'm begging for somebody to get injured and be on the deck for a while, so I can sit down and have a rest, and give me literally I was out of breath with all the singing and chanting, and I says, "Oh, this is a job for young'uns these days. It's past me." So there's two sides to every coin, as I say, and God bless the lads that do go away and do us proud.
Oh, Ian's got some issues with his laptop. Hi, Gary and Wynne. Just to say, I might not be on with them much for the last 2 weeks. Laptop is knackered. We are knackered, as you say. Have to order a new one on Monday, and using one for the.
You just have to watch on your phone, Ian.
Yeah, just take it easy. No problem, buddy. It is an interesting situation when it comes to the tickets and the like I say, the amount of loyalty points you've got to have these days. Though it's so hard. Regarding the Champions League, though, obviously we've had some support, if you like, from one of our an elite player. Some people will say, and he's probably gone on to bigger and better things since retiring from football, if I'm honest with you. David Beckham has been one of the peeps to shine, a bit of a shining light, if you like, in the current situation. And he has been on the telly and said that he was happy to play, to support Newcastle. It was an interesting conversation that he had with, I think it was ESPN, wasn't it? Or was it Sports? Something like that, wasn't it?
It's some sort of hybrid channel, because you had a Sky punter on, you had a BBC punter on, and you had David Beckham independent, I suppose. I don't think he's affiliated anywhere.
No, but he was. He did go through. I think I've got the clip. I'll put it on. It'll be easier for everybody to see and read if I can share it. That is. There you go, and then hopefully I can. You guys can hear it loud and clear if it comes through. That is. Let me know if it doesn't. Make sure the sound's up. It is.
Last season, he scored the goals that he scored, and people, of course, as a Real Madrid player, if you don't win much, then it's a bad season. But Kylian had a great season.
His first bit there, he's picking Real Madrid for winners of it, but then he goes into
in La Liga and the Champions League.
Surprise?
Well, I'm surprised you didn't bring no wine.
You know what? I might have done. Surprise would have to be, I think that people are already writing Newcastle off. I think Newcastle, they're a good team, and I think they've got some good players, and they're very together as a team and as fans and as a club, and I think that they, could surprise a few people.
Were they one of the three you had?
They're one of my three who'll go through.
They are.
Such a liar.
They are now.
There you go. Carragher just doesn't see Newcastle at all, does he?
Well, he said out of the 6 English teams, only 3 of them would go through to the round of 16.
16, yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting one. It was CBS. That was the Champions League today. That was it. CBS Sport, says Irish. Thanks, mate. But again, interesting look, because it's not the first time that we've seen David Beckham support the Toon, is it? Do you remember the last time you saw David Beckham supporting the Toon?
Supporting the Toon? No.
No? Ring any bells? When he went to see the lads in Afghan, wearing his Newcastle shirt.
Right.
He was given this shirt by one of the lads.
I was going to say Northern Rock rarity.
Yeah, absolutely. And this one, looking at the, I think that was the
the Adidas Museum.
Adidas Museum, yeah, where he was having a look at all the old kit. And he seems to love the Newcastle strip for some unknown reason.
Good on him.
He was talking.
What's not to love?
Well, that's what I'm saying. What is not to love when you look at the Newcastle strip? I still haven't got this season's strip, but I'm not. I'm looking at whether to go with the blue one, whether to go with the black and white one. I certainly won't be getting the green one, but I do love the blue one, and I keep looking at individual ones, and I keep thinking to myself, I'm going to go for that one, and then I've got to go for the traditional black and white. But I think I'm going to stick to the blue one. I absolutely love the blue one. It brings back a little bit of history.
Yeah, I'll just show you here. We've got Opta's new statistics based on 10,000 reruns of every match. And this is their Champions League predictions. They're saying Liverpool. Where do you think Newcastle are going to be? How far down?
Well, the last time I had, they gave us a 3% chance of
winning
yeah.
it. Well, this is essentially to get in the top 16. So they've got the top 16 ranked in order: Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, excuse me, Barcelona, Chelsea. So that's 4 English teams in the top 5.
Yeah.
PSG, Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, Inter, then Tottenham, then Napoli, and then Newcastle.
Yeah.
Newcastle ranked in front of Dortmund, Juventus, Athletic.
It's crazy,
And
isn't it?
in front of all of the clubs we're playing, apart from Barcelona.
Yeah. It is crazy when you think about it. I mean, they've got to throw a lot of respect towards Thomas Frank, haven't they? At Tottenham now, he seems to be um, he seems to be doing something with them. They certainly seem a different animal at the minute. Whether that bubble bursts in time, but they've started the Premier League half decent. So I wonder whether that's got something to do with the new appointment of the coach. The reasons why Opta have decided to go so high so soon with Spurs. But I mean, I suppose traditionally Spurs have been around for a while, haven't they? Within the league, the Champions League.
And Thomas Frank at the helm. I did like this one. The Pied Piper of Stuttgart.
Yeah, it's quality.
Driving the rats out of town.
Yeah, it's absolutely stunning. I love that. That is brilliant. What I was going to ask you is there's a bit of a chat, if you like, out there with Amanda Staveley. And what was interesting from the Amanda Staveley situation was the fact that she's turned around and it was a joke, was her initial phrase, if you like, reveals major Newcastle problem that the owners or the new owners had to fix quickly when they took on board. And obviously, she goes on to say that Newcastle have undergone a complete 180-degree turn since the summer of 21. And he says that would be an understatement if I wouldn't say that. She says, following the takeover, PCP were going from near certain to be relegated under Steve Bruce to enjoying Champions League nights at St James's Park, once again bringing in world-class talent and improving the club in all areas. One of the most remarkable transformation that had to happen at the club over the past 4 years has been the training ground and accompanying facilities. And in the fresh interview, Staveley emphasises how it was one of their very first issues she had new owners address upon their arrival, and how crucial it was that they quickly fixed it up before we could attract the players into Newcastle. And she goes on to say why fixing the training ground was one of their priorities. And again, if you go and have a look at the High Performance podcast with Jake Humphries, they were talking about how poor the facilities were under the ownership of Mike Ashley. And she goes on to say, and this is in speech marks, so these are her words: the training ground was a joke. We had to be able to attract players immediately. So we couldn't just say, well, okay, we're going to develop a fantastic new training ground and it's going to take 18 months to do. And the plans, it'll take 2 years to develop. We need to solve the problem there and then. So my husband, his brother, and the PIF team and Jamie Rubin were put to plan together to do that and to take what we had and train into what now you could grow up as being really lovely. I mean, the food was bad. People were almost having cold baths, but it was just like ice buckets. No cryotherapy, all the lack of facilities you need. Staveley's words instantly remind us of that photo from Steve McLaren days when the likes of Musa Sissoko and Jack Colback recovered in giant bins as makeshift ice
wheelie
baths.
bins.
The wheelie bins, yeah, it's crazy. So that was the reasons. Like I say, it's quite a decent interview, and like I say, it was. I thoroughly enjoyed the whole interview.
And by the way, you're on about Jack Colback there, and did you see the John Joe Shelby interview in the Stack?
I have actually got that lined up. If you want to listen to it, we can.
Right,
play
because he says that Jack Colback was his and still is his best mate in football.
Yeah. That's another good interview, actually. If everybody's not seen that.
I thought it went on a bit at times, and he's not exactly the most articulate person in the world, is he?
He's not, no. And I think that is a thing. I mean, the only snippet that I've got is a minute long, to be fair, because, like I say, I don't think it needs any more than that, if I'm 100% honest. So we can, if you want me to, I can line that up for us.
That was interesting.
Yeah. And
I
like
thought
I say,
that
it only
again.
goes on for a little bit.
I mean, I didn't think the interviewer was very good either, to be honest. But
No, neither did I, if I'm honest. Like I say, but this is John Joe and his talk at the Stack.
in the Stack,
Well,
it's not up, are they?
he's one of them that you could just pick up the phone to, and if you ever had a problem or you was going down that coaching route and was looking for advice or anything like that, he's one of them that would just give you any time of the day. And yeah, I mean, I still see him when I'm driving about in the city. He's I've not got a bad word to say about it. I was so happy for him personally that when they won the Carling Cup, or the Carabao Cup as it's called, and the things that he's doing, and I think the way he comes across in the media in terms of how classy he comes across, is like, that's not an act. He's like that in general, if you know what I mean. But then as soon as he goes across that white line, like the level of detail and what he wants from you in that role, he makes it so clear and makes it so easy for you, and like you just run for a brick wall for him.
That's him talking about Eddie Howe, like the respect that all the players have for Eddie Howe. And like I say, when very few managers, like I say, seem to understand players and how they seem to advance, like I say, players' families and things like that. And Eddie Howe seems to do that. But like I said, he's a funny kettle of fish, Eddie Howe. He goes from being your best mate in the training ground or whatever, in the back rooms, but as soon as you step over that white line and you enter the hallowed turf, it becomes a totally different animal. But he seems to be getting a bit of a shift out of the lads, and like I say, for me, it's nice to see the first time since obviously he's come on board that he's actually got his own squad now. Be interesting to see how that continues to develop over the next few months, because like I say, when you look at the amount of fixtures coming up, mate, is ridiculous, isn't it? Up until Christmas, we are inundated with fixtures. It's crazy.
Virtually seven games in October.
Yeah, I'm just looking. September we've got one game, 2 games in October. These are Champions League games. 2 games in November, 1 game in December, 2 games in January. So when you put that in and amongst the cup games, the Premier League games, and everything else, the squad is going to be utilised heavily. So, like I say, I'm just hoping that Wissa's injury isn't as bad as first thought.
Well, the problem is, as soon as Wissa comes back, he's off again.
He's gone. Yeah, exactly. Well, like I say,
the first game in the African Cup of Nations is the 27th of December, which is the day we play Man United away.
Yeah. But I mean, like I say, they reckon 5 to 6 weeks, don't they? So he's obviously got a knee sprain.
Well, it's a 16th of September today.
Yeah.
30 days has set. Well, in the next 12 days, we've got 4 games.
Yeah.
Barcelona,
well, we know he's not going to
Bournemouth.
be. Yeah, he's not going to be here until November earliest. I mean, that's what you've got to say.
And then in October, well, you've got the. Oh, right. I'm just looking at that. I'm thinking, what the hell's going on there? In October, 1st, 5th, then there's the international break. And then from the 18th to the 25th, we've got another 3, including the Champions League. And it's non-stop. I don't think we've got the 10 and 30 days that we had when we had all the injuries, but...
Yeah, that's what I said. I mean, Steve's right. You probably will be missing Wissa from virtually the first week of December. because they do go away for a pre-tournament get-together, don't they?
I don't think they'll be away for 2 weeks, surely.
Well, I know they do send them pretty early to their continent to obviously like the internationals. It's usually at least a week, I think it is, maybe 10 days. I'm not sure whether it's an actual fortnight, but I know they usually send them for them pretty early on to get before the tournament starts. But like I said, it's pretty crazy to think that, again, who do you blame for his injury? You've got to blame the person himself for not wanting to play with Brentford. And that's, this is what I said with Isak. Isak's being left out of the squad because of no pre-season.
That's one person I blame for Wissa's injuries, and that's a bloody referee in the Congo-Senegal.
Yeah, I know, but if you look at where his injury happened, he fell over himself.
But he looked perfectly fit in the game.
Yeah.
He was running, he was doing, he scored a goal, but he was getting kicked from pillar to post, and the referee was doing nothing about it. Eventually, the really bad one that I think's done the damage, the kid got a yellow card, and then that was closely followed by when he was put through on goal, and he literally fell down.
Well, that's when he sprained his knee. It was that. That is exactly what it was.
It was comical.
Yeah, because as he went down, it looked like his knee dug in to the ground, and it could have just twisted around a little bit. So
but then he continued, and he got another kick after that.
Yeah. But I think, like I said, I think it is an isolated injury because of tired limbs. Because
it's just typical Newcastle, isn't it? We're
buying
a player who hasn't got any injury history at all.
Yeah.
And before he's kicked the ball, he's out.
Yeah, but I mean, like I say, you can't blame anybody. Cursed. Yeah, but you can't really look at anybody else particularly to blame, though. That's what I'm trying to say, is because these things, again, you look at Isak and his situation at Liverpool. I mean, Slot said, this is his pre-season that he's doing at the minute. He's not fit to play the amount of games that we've got coming up. So, again, you do have to look at why the Congo manager, the coach, would have played him for 2 games, though, knowing full well that he hasn't had any pre-season. You'd think there'd be a conversation potentially between club and country, and just say, listen, the lad's not had much pre-season. Can you just relax on him a little bit? Because with Wissa, he's all heart. You know what I mean? He plays 100%. He doesn't give half percentage. He wouldn't go out there if he didn't think he could contribute. So, that's the attitude you want in a Newcastle shirt. I have no issues with that. But at the end of the day, you've got to question. This is what you get, unfortunately, for not doing the job that you're paid to do. Geordie Dan saying, can the club stop him for going international duty again in October? Well, he won't be fit. I don't think he'll be fit for October. If it's a knee sprain, like I say, sprains with it being ligament issues can be, as daft it looks, 6 to 8 weeks. When you're utilising anybody else, it's probably 4 to 5 weeks. But when it's a job like they've got, with the amount of running that these guys to do, you could say it's 6 to 8 weeks more than anything else. I don't think he'll be ready for that one. But like I say, he should be back for November. But then again, he's only really got a month to get himself fit before he'll be off again to Congo for the AFCON. So again, it'll be a case of using Newcastle to gain your fitness to go off to play for your country again. And who knows? Like Wins just said, it could be bloody Newcastle's luck for something to happen again while he's on international duty. But it is a crazy situation to be in, isn't it? When you think about it, like I say, a lad who's had no previous injuries record whatsoever, and then go and get knackered like that. Pretty strange. Was there anything else from you that you wanted to add?
Well, I have been asked to show this.
Oh.
So if I get it up on there. go there. And we'll give it a whirl.
It's no sound, Win. You got no sound, dude.
No sound.
No sound. Is this what you did the last time, or is this a new one?
No, it's a different one. Wait a minute.
You're going to have to play the sound, mate.
Yeah, I'm going to have to try and get this up 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're right, though, mate. I mean, it is, Claire, you're right. I mean, it potentially the reasons why we have avoided a lot of the AFCON. I mean, you imagine what the Mackhams are going to be like when all their players go. They're going to be decimated.
Right, let's try again. Also share tab.
No. Have you put it up in your tab? Remember to put it in your tab. Hot air as normal. Says Stevie. Love that one. Balky says, please keep the sound off. It sounds better. Half of Sunderland will be oot lot. Yeah, absolutely.
I'll tell you what, we'll get it up for another day.
Yeah, we'll play with it. Well, you will. 55 million wasn't cheap, etc. We have crap time, ton of games. Can't risk that again. Should put a stop to it. Like I said, I'm surprised that but again, it's like I say. You said yesterday, didn't you, on the show, that if we stop him from going to AFCON, means he can't play for Newcastle. And he can be on the bench. He can be on the bench because you can be returning to fitness, but you would have to obviously try and give yourself.
Listen, I don't think he would do that. I don't think he would do that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think when if you're fit enough for your, if you're fit enough for the club, he's an honest boy. There's lots of Newcastle support in the latest odds for the prediction tournament. 2-1, 3-1, 3-2 to Barca, says Andy Bell. I've gone with a draw, if I'm honest with you. I think it's going to be a close game. They've lost to a couple of players, though, I've noticed recently. There's been some updates on the players that are missing. Xavi's missing, I think.
Lamar's missing, I know.
Yeah. Lots of players seem to be out of... and Bald, Gavi and Yamal will be missing against Newcastle. So that's the injury news at the minute that we've got reports from Spain, says Connor. So, they are going to be, I would say depleted, but they won the other night 6-0. So they're still coming with a formidable loss, and he's injured too, says Gio. Wow. So they have got a bit of a...
But Valencia are not the force they once were under Rafa by a long, long way.
Well, Valencia? No, Valencia... Yeah. No,
they're 16th or something in the table at the minute.
Yeah, so, crazy. Gio too saying 4 games in and everyone's injured. What's going on there? Yeah, well, that's what I said. Look at that. 6-0. They played a bunch of... Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah, you can argue that Ramsey did have a history of injury, so... maybe not such a surprise there, and is it such a good buy after all based on that when we knew that? But Wissa is just pure, and we had the same with Harvey Barnes, and we signed Harvey Barnes. He busted his foot getting out the bath or something. He was missing for nearly the season. Tonali getting banned for the season. It's a curse. We are cursed.
Cursed. Yeah, indeed. I'm just looking. The Standard have issued some information about potential lineups. So, predicting Newcastle. This is according to the Standard for the game versus Barcelona on Thursday. Will be Pope in goal, Trippier, Shaw, Botman, and Tino Livramento at the back. J7, Gilmoras, and Tonali with Elanga, Voltemada, and Anthony Gordon as your front three. Obviously unavailable Wissa and Ramsey. And the predicted Barcelona 11, again going a 4-3-3, will be Garcia, Koundé, Aruya, I like Arujo, Kerbasi, Martin, Pedri, Casado, Rafinha, Firmin, Rashford, and Lewandowski. Doubts with Yamal and De Jong, injured Bald, Testegen, and Gavi. So they're definitely out, Balder, Testegen, and Gavi. And the two doubtful at the moment because they haven't trained is Yamal and De Jong.
Well, no, I think the manager's come out and said he won't play.
Who, Yamal?
Yeah.
All right, okay.
Pretty sure I've seen
They've
that
just got them
somewhere.
down as
doubtful.
doubts. Yeah, as doubts, because there's been no training, and apparently, obviously, if you don't train, you don't play. That's what they say. Is there anything else that
No,
you've,
I think
you've
that's
seen?
that's it. We've
And the only thing I was going to say about
we've drunk the
Thursday-
well dry.
Yeah, you've obviously been warned, guys, according to the Chronicle, that there's going to be road closures 3 hours before the clash with Barcelona. So just be aware that anybody driving into the city from outside the city, there will be road closures 3 hours before the match.
Well, I haven't heard anything. I tried to find it, but if you remember, say for the PSG game and for the Dortmund game, the club had been informed where to tell their fans to congregate. So, and then the police marched them on block from the collection area, for want of a better expression, up to the ground. And I assume with a club the size of Barcelona, they will have done the same. So you can expect a block of 500, if that's how many tickets they've sold, Barca supporters walking up Gallagher.
Right, so it does say, though...
from the monument.
The overnight closure of the Tyne Bridge on Thursday has been delayed until 11:30 to accommodate travelling fans getting back over the bridge. And then it's talking, obviously, this is Karen Gilgore, is the leader of the Newcastle City Council. The return of the Champions League nights to Newcastle is fantastic for the city, and we wish Newcastle United the best of luck as they begin their European campaign against Barcelona. In terms of what the night will look like for supporters regarding our city's roadwork, it will be usual road closures that are in place for any home match in the city. They will just be, obviously, a little bit earlier. The pre-match closures will be in operation from 3 hours prior to kick-off rather than the usual 2 hours. In addition, Blackett Street will be closed between 5 p.m. and 6 p.m. to facilitate an anticipated build-up of supporters. As always, we would encourage supporters and all others in the city to plan their journeys in advance. We would also remind people of the recent introduction post-match 45-minute closure of Barrack Road between Stanhope Street and St James's Boulevard, which will again be in place on Thursday night and for all Newcastle United home games this season, following a successful trial period. To further help facilitate this fixture, the overnight closure of the Tyne Bridge on Thursday has been delayed till 11:30, as I said before. We've worked hard with our partners to make sure our city is ready to host what promises to be a special night for Newcastle United supporters, and we hope everybody has a safe and enjoyable night as the club celebrates its return to Europe's elite level of football. Newcastle United will play Barcelona at St James's Park on Thursday, kick-off at 8 p.m. So there you go. So you've been pre-warned, everybody, that these
pre-warned is pre-armed.
Indeed. Now, I listened to you guys talking about Liverpool, and I was going to ask you, this is literally towards the end of the show now, because there ain't a lot. When's Newcastle's luck going to change, I ask you? It seems as though, and the question I have to ask now is, and I asked it the other day, how referees and officials, as in a lot of industries these days, where they are looking at paperwork and their CV rather than the ability to do the task in hand. And I ask that is because we've always seen in the past where people can usually recite from books very capably the job or the task that they've been asked to do. But when you've given them the tools in the hand, they somewhat struggle to finish the task that they've been asked to do. So I looked at the game and I watched with a little bit of, I suppose, an open mind. And I'm going to say that because we'd seen previously referees make some quite shocking decisions when it comes to the lads in the northeast, the black and white wearers. And again, we saw another one the weekend when Harvey Barnes was clean through, and it looked like he was completely taken out by the Wolves defender. Are we looking at just being unlucky? You know, what's Chris's new saying?
You can't count on luck, but luck counts. I love it.
It's quite cool, that, isn't it? Yeah.
Isn't it? It is.
It is. I like that one, I must admit. Now, I've been, and I must admit, I've watched this little snippet somebody has put on TikTok, the Velux horse. I don't know who that is. But again, I'm using this just because it just keeps playing over and over and over again. So thank you, Velux horse, because I am going to share it with you guys. Because it shows you the movement as the defender gets beaten by Harvey Barnes. And Harvey Barnes gets clean through. How the defender actually just highlights Harvey Barnes and stops Harvey Barnes. No intention of getting the ball whatsoever. And this is in complete full view of the referee at the time. Now, Mr. Hackett, Keith Hackett, who was obviously long since retired, has come on board again, looking at some of the decisions that have gone against Newcastle. I think he must have been a secret Newcastle fan, considering Keith Hackett seems to be one of very few ex-officials that seems to be in favour of giving us anything, to be fair. But he has come on board and said that it was a clear and obvious red card. Now, there was a brand new guy in the telly room, in VAR, it's his first ever game, Premier League game, and obviously it took him less than 5 seconds to rule in favour of the referee. Was he under too much pressure to give a decision? Well, I mean, even if he'd have asked him to go and have a look at it, just to be sure, on the monitor again, would that not have been the correct decision? That's what I'm saying. I'm just going to play this in the background, like I say.
It depends on what he's looking for.
Yeah.
Right.
So, like I say, this is the event. In case anybody hasn't seen
I'm assuming this is the Harvey Barnes incident.
This is the Harvey Barnes event. Yeah. So the ball gets played through, and as you can see here, now if I stop it there, Harvey Barnes is between the two defenders. So this guy here is the one that's going to take him out. Now you look at where he's looking. When he this angle isn't brilliant, I must admit. There. Now, you tell me that he's looking at the ball in front of him. His face is actually looking at the player there, look. And you can see his elbow's gone out and hit him literally. Now, we were talking about the Anthony Gordon Brighton incident where he uses both hands into the side of the face and as a push, right? So what is the difference in that situation to this situation? That's what I'm trying to get to. Because again, he's used his arm as an extension of his body, and it's a lot more harder than your bloody hand, your elbow, to go into the side of your mandible. And there's a better.
Well, I was straight up off my seat and ran down to watch the replay, and I ran straight back. I ran straight back up and said, "Penalty all day." He's put his arm straight across his throat.
Right, he's gone through. He's clear through. Eyes on the ball. Now look, I mean that to me that is crazy. He hasn't gone anywhere near to get that ball. Or to run in the direction of the ball. He's literally, his angle is just coming across Harvey Barnes.
Right.
His line of play.
Here's the thing, because when I then looked at it later on a few times, like this, what VAR there is looking to see whether it's a penalty or not. And the problem is that all of that there happens outside the box.
Yeah, but
Right.
if you had a look on the screen, hold on, let me just wait there. When we saw the VAR was being looked at, it said a red card incident. Nothing about penalty.
Ah, right. Well, I didn't know that. All I saw was VAR, not the reason for it, and I assumed it was because it was going to be for a penalty. So then I saw that shot, and I says, well, it's a penalty all day. He's got his hands across. But then when they showed another clip of it, that happens clearly outside the box.
Yeah.
So that the next question is, if that is not deemed a red card offence, because all VAR can look at is penalties and red cards.
Yeah.
So the next question is he last man?
Yeah.
In which case it is a potential red card event, because it doesn't have to be a nasty foul, a dangerous foul for it to be a red card. If you're last man, any foul is a red card.
Yeah.
And again, if you look at the thing, that there is a Liverpool defender by that stage in front of him.
A Liverpool defender.
Yeah. A Wolves defender.
Well, I was going to say, hold on.
a Wolves defender. It's just because we were talking about Liverpool.
Liverpool. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So he's not the last man either. So you can't look at it in terms of him being the last man, and so then you're looking. Is it a red in and of itself? Is it a red card offence? And when you see it at normal speed, at full speed, you can argue that it's certainly a yellow card, but VAR can't intervene on yellow cards.
No, but they can intervene on obviously red cards, and that's what I said. When the VAR come up, it said, red card being checked. And
then so could the red card not have been because he was last man?
Well, he was last man, and that's what I'm saying. He was clearly the last man because he obviously misinterpreted the bounce of the ball, right? And he was looking directly at the player, and that's why I said, if you look at that last still that I've got on the screen there, right, you can see where his body is in line. The ball is, if I get my arrow, the ball is coming this way. Harvey Barnes is running on in this direction, and he's cut across him this way. So he had no intentions of getting that ball because he'd been deceived by the bounce of the ball. So the only way he was going to stop Harvey Barnes from having a clear and obviously chance of a shot at goal was by taking the player.
We should certainly have had something.
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I'm saying.
Certainly had at the very least, it should have been a free kick on the edge of the area.
Are we at the mercy now that we aren't getting the decisions that Newcastle deserve? And when, we've seen quite...
Well, you know what they say that I vehemently disagree with? It swings and roundabouts. You'll get it in your favour as often as you get it against you. I just don't think that's true, and I don't think it...
Yeah,
I don't think it reflects on what as it happens, that particular game there, right, it didn't matter. We got the points.
Yeah, we did. We got the points, but it's got nothing to do, for me, it's got nothing to do with, it's about being fair and open and honest. And I just find at this present moment in time, when a Newcastle player does anything, and I'm talking about J7 now, it seems to me as though J7 has been earmarked as being one of the players to watch. When these referees get together and they have their meetings on a monthly basis and they discuss areas of concern and where they've got it wrong and they try and put it right. The problem is you're never going to get this situation back again. So the way I look at it is you've got a brand new guy in the office watching the monitors, who's obviously unsupervised at this point because he's done all the training. He's gone through all the summer doing the training. He's been deemed fit to do this job. And like I said, have we got to the situation now where common sense, has gone out the window? And we're just looking at people's CV now, saying that they're very academic and yes, you can do the job, rather than obviously watching them in a match scenario where they are being supervised by somebody who has obviously a bit more experience in the game, where they can potentially overrule or question what they've just done. Because it took him 5 seconds to make that decision.
Yeah, but you've also got the situation, haven't you, where PGMOL are saying that the VAR team should not be refereeing the match.
No.
That by and large, the philosophy is we will intervene as little as possible. To me, it's dead simple. The way you do it is you give the managers challenges. So that the VAR themselves, the officials themselves don't have to decide whether they look at something or not. It's up to the managers, and they get two challenges per half, let's say. If they get it right and they get the decision in their favour, they keep the 2 challenges, just like cricket, just like tennis, just like a lot of American sports, which people won't like. But
yeah, I mean, Kev Bell's put up here, like, every fan will of their own team will say it's not true. We've definitely benefited from some dubious penalties, and you're absolutely right, mate. I said at the time when Gordon went down against West Ham, he falls over at the breath of wind. Doesn't fall over anywhere. Well, he does fall over everywhere else, if I'm honest with you, Gordon. But you often find that a lot of players push themselves into the box before they go to the ground to try and obviously get a decision against the referees, and that to me should be dealt with in a different manner. But I try and be unbiased in these situations. I mean,
well, that's what I was trying to be. I've just been accused of being a Mackham there by somebody, but due a 284 closet Mackham, I am apparently, because I'm, playing devil's advocate and arguing what I saw on the day. That definitely did happen outside the box.
Yeah.
But was it a red card anyway? Was it
I mean, listen. This is what annoys me, though. You see, because if it's a law of the game.
Because in real time, we thought it was. Well, obviously, he falls inside the box, and we thought. And when I saw that, I ran downstairs, and when I saw that, I thought, whoa, penalty all day long. I ran over, I said, it's definitely penalty this, definitely a penalty this, and they were still carrying on playing now. What the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, it's like David T. I mean, I saw this the other day, mate. I was reading an article about PGMO, and the directive is this season to let challenges be more lenient, if you like. And then, like I say, you see J7 does one challenge and he gets a yellow card. So that's what I'm trying to say. Are we just looking? Listen, there is going to be a certain bias for Newcastle because I'm a Newcastle fan. But being, having been a referee at junior level, and you see the game in a different light when you're looking at it through without the black and white tinted glasses. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I've often called, a lot of decisions that have gone Newcastle, that should never have happened while we've been live doing the watch along. I've also called a lot of decisions that the referee hasn't called until the VAR have intervened.
Yeah, I've done this, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. And yes, you do get a camera angle. That's different to what the referee gives you. But I do question, like I say, whether it is a case of, opinions now rather than rule. Because that should go out the window. To bring everybody together. Go on, mate.
Kevin Bell's just saying, if we took VAR out of the equation and the referee can make a judgment on his own decision and then look at the monitor. But the whole point of VAR is to see things that the referee didn't see.
Can't. Yeah, exactly.
Or can't
Different
see, in
angles.
fact. That's right.
Yeah.
You know, a referee, when there's a corner being taken, for example, the referee cannot be watching every individual tussle that's going on.
Yeah, it's impossible.
It's impossible, a physical impossibility. So that's why VAR was one of the reasons, certainly, that it was brought in.
Yeah, I mean,
to see things that the referee doesn't see. So if you're relying on the referee to ask for a monitor, he's not going to ask for a monitor for someone that he hasn't seen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Queenie's just saying there, I don't support what will happen on Thursday. Pre-diving in the last 15 minutes of first half. You watch Barcelona, will start diving in the box, looking for anything. Observe and see for yourselves. Obviously, we know what the European referees are like at times. Some don't give anything. Some give everything. It could be one of them games where it just gets stop, start every 5 minutes. It will be an interesting one to see how they go. But I do find it a little bit, like I say, a little bit questionable now with some of these refereeing decisions. And that's what I said. I mean, Shelley, bless her, has said that one earlier on, where the Fulham and Chelsea game, there was a lot go out the window. I bet you were unlucky the weekend. The old Toffees there against the Villa, they absolutely dominated them. To the point where they actually went over and clapped the fans to keep staying and watching them for the whole 90 minutes, I think, the Villa fans.
Hey, Tony T, I blame the cyclists.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that do. I'm sure people are blaming Brexit somewhere. But, I mean, it is what it is. But I just thought I'd bring it up because I do feel as though, I mean, that Kev's right. We have had a lot of the green rubber, the green in recent. I'm not saying it's right though. That's what I'm saying. And are we relying very?
I think it could all be ironed out. And then what happens then is after a game, if someone is proven clearly to have been a foul or whatever, if it was that clear and obvious, why didn't the manager appeal for it? Yeah,
exactly. That's what I'm saying. If it was that clear,
so if you put it down, have an appeal system. Everything's suddenly clear. There's no grey lines. You can't say you should have looked at it because they can make you look at it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's the way it's got to be. Because, like I say, VAR just isn't working for me. Not the way it should do, anyway. I suppose that is it. We are virtually right at the end of our show. I'm just going to have a quick recap to make sure I haven't missed anything.
I don't think I've missed any cues.
No, I did star a couple. If you want, because we were going to come back to what's the names that I starred earlier. David Veach has obviously come in with a couple of things: a recruitment coaching and tactical analysis. We've done that one. Obviously, when we look at the feature of the new training complex, AI modelling will operate right through our club.
Alignment.
Calls it alignment. Yeah, exactly.
Alignment is his key word. That's his buzzword.
It is, yeah. And then
to go with Eddie's group.
Yeah, David's come in with Suds, and our new principal scientist will develop the best sports AI model, and we will dominate through its creation and implementation.
And like I say, it was Al Ramayan and his chat to the business fraternity in Washington, D.C. was saying that Saudi are at the very forefront of AI technology, so we can look forward to being included in his, use of AI.
Yeah, in the last half an hour, there's just been somebody, obviously talking about Newcastle United set for the first glimpse of the 78 million Barcelona transfer targets that obviously we saw in the summer. But I wanted to end the show on this one because obviously Gavin Fuller had put up about Pep has now stopped playing out from the back,
that's right,
going along with Donnarumma as everyone going to copy and put this playing out from the back. You know what? I think you're absolutely right. I think you have to utilise the type of keeper you have within your squad, because not everybody can play with the feet. We've seen that, and Donnarumma is definitely one that can't. He is definitely in the school of Pope when it comes to kicking. great shot stopper. I mean, that save that he made against
fantastic.
Mbuemo, that was a worldie. I mean, it was a worldie shot, to be fair. Beautiful shape.
Listen. I thought Man United could have had 4 or 5.
Well, I mean, if the way it worked, it was really weird because Man City being at home, right? They allowed Man United. If you look at the tactic that Pep had set up, it was really clever of Pep. Let Manchester United have the ball in the non-dangerous areas. When they get into the final third, when we win the ball back, let's break in numbers, and it was quick. But the beauty of watching the likes of Man City break in numbers is they have the players to actually develop the ball quickly. And if you look at the likes of Silva to Haaland, the balls that he played, it's perfect weight, perfect alignment. You know what I mean? Everything has to be right for it to be the end product. And that's the difference. When Newcastle do it, if you notice that even against Wolves, even though some of the balls into the channels were perfect, just overhit. There's like the composure or the quality is just not there. And I think sometimes you can see what they're trying to do. They just haven't got that quality to actually develop it. So I love the fact the way Man City played because I haven't seen Man City on the back foot for a long time. But I think that was an absolutely bang-on purpose tactic from Pep because Man United are crap at the back. There's no pace. They're crap in midfield. There's nobody that can put a foot on the ball and develop it. So Pep knew exactly when to break. Pep knew exactly when to break and when somebody on the Manchester United team had the ball, bang, 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 and it was gone. You know, and they, even though, like I said, it was. I mean, you're right by saying what you're saying because of the way they dominated the ball in non-dangerous areas, and they created very little in the final third, Man U, apart from these couple of really good shots. And like I said, any other day or any other keeper, it would have probably been a goal. But I thought Donnarumma for his debut played a blinder. But a really interesting one, to be fair. But I really liked the way they set up for that. But Newcastle now, if you notice, they've gone old school again. We've gone back retro, playing into the corners on the starts. Long throw-ins now for target men. Them had gone for years and years. Decades. I haven't really seen us throwing the ball into the edge of the 6-yard box. Obviously, there's only looks like Tino can throw a ball. I mean, Trippier can't. So it's as if we've gone old school. And the other thing that I've noticed with Newcastle, with Popey, we don't go short very often these days now, unless they back off. If the opposition back off, then Popey is quite happy and well within his element to kick the ball short. But when there's a press on, 90% of the time now we go long. So that's certainly something that's changed in Newcastle's armoury. And I think, as Gavin has put there, I think that will be continued now throughout a lot of those that follow the Pep style of play, if you like. And there seems to be a few of them. But you'll always have the Amorims of this world that only see one way and one way to play. And unfortunately, it may be at the detriment to the club. And that is it. So thanks, Gavin, for that one, because like I say, it was a really interesting look at the way Pep has started to play football. I think that's it, mate, aren't we? Are we good?
Yeah, we're all good, I think.
I think we've covered virtually everything there. There's nothing else that I could see in the Star. There's no more information that's come out, again, apart from what they're saying. It could be the first glimpse of the target from Barcelona that we were looking at.
If anyone knows who Jonathan Shaw and Leonard Butler are, I don't know if they've got pseudonyms on the chat
Leonard
or whatever.
Butler? Is that not the guy who is the actor, Leonard Butler?
I've got no idea. But Jonathan Shaw and Leonard Butler, they've paid their prediction league fees.
Oh, they're not putting any predictions
but they're not putting any predictions in.
Oh, well,
Jonathan Shaw and Leonard Butler.
Bless you. Get yourself involved. It's a bit of fun. And like I say, it just gives you something to get the banter going. But like I say, it's blooming hard because you have to lead with your heart, or do you lead with your head? to try and get any points on the board, and it's like to try and get anything, like I say. So you always try and lead with your heart, like he does here. I've just had a little bit of breaking news from our roaming reporter, Connor. Spanish media reported Newcastle United are sending scouts to watch one of Europe's most exciting youngsters, Dan Fitzgerald, play for Atletico Madrid against Liverpool in the UEFA Youth League. So there you go. That's bang up to date as we got it. Thanks, Connor. So there you go. Another one. Dan Fitzgerald, who plays for Atletico Madrid. So again, these youngsters aren't...
John Fitzgerald and Gerald Fitzjohn.
That's a different channel, I suppose. But that's it. We are literally 2 hours in. It's a goodbye from him.
And it's a goodbye from him. How are you, the lads?
Lassies and bairns. Thanks to everyone that's watched. We'll see you on tonight's show.
Smash the likes on your way out, please. Smash the likes.